What's going on, guys? Counting Gains back here again. So today we got Andrew Tate, how to overcome depression. So as I do a lot of motivational videos on this channel, guys, and stuff like that, I want to be helping to motivate people and stuff, you know, to get people in the gym, to help cure depression, anxiety, things like that. And I think everyone has experienced at some time. I've never experienced depression really ever, but anxiety and things like that, you know, everyone has levels of these things. Every single person in the world, right? It's kind of impossible to not have it, but just some have it fewer than others. I think Tate is a perfect example and exceptional example of how to kind of cure mental health illnesses, guys. Before we get into this, you know, this one's to motivate, guys. This one's not to put anyone down or anything like that. You know, I really want to help people. Now, I think the depression is real. Definitely, only 10% of people have it, in my opinion. Though it's not like a thing that, you know, that's like it's a disease. Some people have like chemical imbalances and things like that. But definitely, because this month in November, I think, is like the depression month. Everyone pretty much knows someone that's experienced depression or committed suicide or something like that. Especially in Ireland, it's kind of huge. So this video is here to help, guys. Maybe people don't agree with the message, but definitely, it's kind of something that 90% of people just experience it. There's some time in their life, and it's something that you yourself have to get out of. For men, most times depression is stuff that's like, you're in a shit situation. You don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a job, you hate your life, whatever the case may be, guys. You're overweight. These things are what contribute to it. If you're a fit, healthy guy that gets all the women and is rich, you're probably not gonna have depression, guys. That's probably, that's it. You might not be happy with your life because of certain choices that you've made, but for the most part, it's kind of up to you to determine that. So this one should be good, guys. How to overcome depression. Let's get it. Let's listen to what the ringleader, Mr. Tate, has to say.
Most famous tweet was when I said depression wasn't real. And I had A-list celebrities. I had the girl from Game of Thrones. I had fucking literally A-list guys. And everyone's telling me how dangerous my mindset is. What is dangerous about believing that you control your own mind? Because if you implement the 4 things I've just told you, depression becomes garbage. Depression is not a thing anymore. Feeling depressed is real.
Yeah, like, if you feel depressed, like if you lose all your money, you lose your wife, your kids, if you lose certain things, you're going to be depressed, guys. There's no doubt about that, right? It's just that you have the ability to kind of change that situation. It's not just coming from things that you can't control. It comes from things that you can control, right?
You can be depressed with your situation. I just told you, number 2, get depressed. That's fine. But believing you can fix it yourself is the important key.
That's powerful.
Sitting there believing that depression is some monster from the sky that strikes your brain and now you have no control over it and you must take pills every day is the absolute enemy to a G mindset. I don't give a fuck how depressing my situation. The only person who can change it is me.
Yeah, that's one thing people have to realize, guys. No matter how shit your situation is, the only person you can control it is you, man. No one's going to help you. All these people talking to you and telling you things and doctors stuff. Only you can control it, guys,
The only person who can change how I feel about my situation or try and affect the situation directly is me. Even if you put me in a situation I can't change, if you put me in jail and I'm depressed because I'm in jail, I still refuse to succumb to depression. I refuse to collapse mentally and give up. I know the only person who can control my mind is me. Nobody's coming to save me. No doctor with a pill is coming to save me.
That's very harsh reality right there, guys.
Depression isn't real. Depression is a state of mind designed to motivate you to find a life that doesn't depress you any further.
I think I heard before that depression, like you get it, it's like a thing that attacks you, and we've got it down from centuries from our ancestors. It's been like inherited from our ancestors because it's like if you're in a shit situation, like it actually pushes you to get out of it, kind of thing. I think that's because people have to experience rock bottom before they try something new, before they do something, before they put themselves out there, before they do whatever, start a YouTube channel. that's one thing. I was never depressed, though, guys, but yeah, I wasn't happy with my situation. I was like, you know what, fuck this. I don't like working for other people. I'm way better than all these people that I'm working for. You have to be like that, guys. You have to say, yes, I am 100% better. I can do better than these people. And now look, you know what I mean? So
all it is. Now you have to decide, are you man enough to go and get it done, or are you going to sit around and cry? And depression, the reason I talk about depression a lot is because depression in the Western world is the cure-all. It's the cure-all excuse. This is what people are using. My life's shit because I'm depressed. No, you're depressed because your life is shit. It's the other way round, and you're refusing to acknowledge that, and you want to sit there and live a shit life and pretend that some disease has struck you. And the reason you know that's bullshit, anyone out there who's depressed, I'll tell you something, you're not depressed, you're a coward. And the reason you're a coward is as follows. You desperately try to defend this crippling ailment you have. When I tell you depression isn't real, you message me pages and pages, desperate to convince me I'm wrong, that depression is a real thing, and that your life is terrible, and this ailment has destroyed your life because you're desperate to defend your excuse. If depression was really terrible,
like,
you wouldn't want...
It's basically trying to say that you're a coward because you're looking for like a cop-out. You know, I can't do this because, you know, depression, like, or I can't get a job, or I can't do these things, these hard things. I can't go to the gym every day. I can't do these hard things that, you know, you probably should do because, oh, depression, you know, and it's kind of like a cop-out. But you can say anything, basically, for a cop-out. You could say, oh, this happened this week, so I can't do this. And it's all complete bullshit. And you know deep down it is bullshit, guys. You know, like, that saying, like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym because I have anxiety. Like, everyone has anxiety. I've been working out since I was 16 every single day before the gym. I have a tiny bit of anxiety because your body is starting to say, okay, I'm in the fight now. I'm in the fight. You know, before a big, massive boxing match, I'm sure everyone has massive anxiety. But it leaves the second you enter that gym, the second you start working out. So, you know.
Want to defend it. If depression was really so bad, and I'm telling you it's not real, and I know how to fix you, and if you implement a mindset like mine, you become immune to depression. If depression was so terrible, you'd listen to me and think, I need to try what this guy does. I need to do. If he's immune to depression and it's impossible to depress him, I need to be like this man. But instead, no. You don't want to do that. You want to call me names and sit and defend this ailment because you know it's garbage. It's your excuse. It's your blanket. It's your shield. It's your excuse you get to pull out every time you look at your failure of a life.
Yeah, like, basically he's trying to get out, like, that the failures that you have in life are kind of on you. They're not on anyone else. They're not on your depression, or they're not on your anxiety. They're not on, like, these mental health issues, which definitely, in my opinion, I don't agree 100%. I think that definitely these things can have an effect. Like, if you're crippling anxiety and stuff like that, you know, or if your anxiety is getting worse, you know, you have to take action. You have to say, okay, what can I do to prevent this? Like, you know, so you're constantly, like, bringing, maybe I exercise, maybe I do these things, rather than, like, popping a pill and saying, oh, that's it, cured. Like, do you know what I mean? Because anything that's done to you is going to be worse than anything that you do for yourself. Like, if you stretch every day, that's really good. But if you get a massage every day, it's not going to be as good as you stretching, right? This is just facts, like, right?
And that's why depression is absolutely and utterly not real. And anyone who's bought this course who thinks they're depressed, I'll tell you something now. Drop that coward bullshit. If you're watching this and you're depressed, drop and give me 200 press-ups. Do 200 press-ups. Look in the mirror, look in your eyes, and tell yourself you're the fucking man, and drop that garbage, because you can get absolutely nowhere in your life if you believe in that crap. Depression absolutely isn't real. And you're going to say this to people, and they're going to fucking go nuts at you. They're going to call you arrogant, and they're going to call you all the things they called me. But your life is going to be a life worth living.
You know, say you were running a depression camp, how would you get people out of their depression?
I get them out of the depression by making them understand the harsh realities of the world. And the harsh realities of the world is that life doesn't give a fuck about you. Life doesn't give a shit about you.
This is a tough, guys. Like, you know, I was watching a program recently about Africa and these really poor places, and, like, they don't have any of this shit, guys, because it's so hard, their life, you know, to actually do certain things. You know, here in the Western world, we're very sheltered. It's very easy life. So, you know, in these countries, man, they don't have anything, guys. They're worrying about their day-to-day. People are getting bombed, like, it's crazy, you know?
If a lion goes to hunt some gazelle, let's say you're a lion and you're chilling, and you see a whole bunch of antelope in the corner. When the lions start chasing the antelope, they get the slowest, weakest antelope. They get the babies, they get the one who's sick, they get the one who's got a broken leg. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to be like, oh, well, that one's sick, so we can't eat that one. Or that one didn't have breakfast, so it's unfair to chase that one down. The lion doesn't care. The lion gets the slowest antelope. And life's exactly the same. So you have to decide which antelope you want to be, because just like the lion, life doesn't give a shit who's at the back.
Yeah, that's how it is, guys. You know, and this is the thing I want everyone to realize. Like, people talk and they say, oh, they care about yourself, but guys, everyone has so many problems themselves. They don't give a shit about you, even if they're, you know, even if they're trying to help you or whatever the case may be. Even the doctors and therapists, they don't give a shit about you, guys. You know, you either kind of become the winner or you're just at the back, guys. And that's just life, guys, and it sucks. And it's always going to be like that, and it's never going to change, guys. Life is never going to change. It's always like that. But people are constantly trying to say things like, oh, you know, feel sorry for me because of this. People die, things happen, horrendous things happen to people. You just got to keep moving forward. You know, that's just my mindset. I've never once been depressed. I'm just like, okay, well, that shit thing happened. Let's just keep moving forward. So, you know, it constantly just keeps moving forward. You know, life just never stops. You know, that sun will rise tomorrow, guys. You know, it's going to happen, so...
And you have to decide if you want to be at the back and hope the lion's going to feel sorry for you when it's hungry, and you can tell him all your excuses just before he rips your throat out, or you can make sure you're the one at the front by any means necessary. And that's a choice you have to make. And when people truly understand that and they stop externalizing their problems, then they believe there's two choices. You either externalize your issues or you believe you have influence over your issues. When bad things have happened.
Yeah, like, you kind of say, oh, this competition, I don't like this competition, so let me just do nothing. Well, really, you should have the mindset like, oh, there's massive competition. I'm going to be the number one. Like, I'm over here, guys, for the last, like, I don't know, 6 months working 10 to 15 hours a day on this YouTube shit. Like, every single day, just all the time, shorts, whatever the case may be, all the time, different fitness programs. I'm doing a lot of behind the scenes as well when I say 10 to 15 hours, right? So it's not just constant videos, right? It's other stuff as well. But the videos take oh my God, so much time. So, you know, I'm over here doing 15 hours a day on the shit, working every single day, never taking Sunday off, never taking any day off. And then a guy who's working in a shop, working 7 hours a day, yeah, I'm going to beat you. You know, straight up, guys, I'm going to beat you. And people get mad at that. They're like, oh man, this guy's not going to beat me. I am, guys. And the guy who's working 140 hours a week as a doctor and doing a harder job than me, they're going to beat me, guys. Just straight up how it is. I have a friend who's making 200 grand a year in London. He's beating me, you know, straight up, guys. You know what I mean? And you got to accept your defeat, but you also want to be able to compete with the big boys. So keep going, guys. Keep pushing, man. You know, don't ever accept defeat. But if you're not doing it as much as you can, you know what I mean? Then that's what happens. You know, you get run over. So, and life doesn't give a shit. Like, just run your ass over. That's it.
To me, when my father died or whatever, I never allowed myself to wake up and think maybe I have depression, because it wasn't even in my realm of possibility. It wasn't even ever in my sphere. It's like, I'm upset about this, and times are healing, whatever. I've got work to do. Let's get up. Let's get done. And so I don't see why that's detrimental to anybody. The reason that people got so triggered and upset by what I said is because I attack their belief system. It's like attacking someone's God. It's their worldview. It shapes everything they do. Like if you believe in God, or you believe in ghosts, or you believe in depression, everything you do is influenced by this belief. And when you attack someone's belief, they're going to get very desperate to defend it. There's also a large body of evidence saying that depression doesn't exist. Feel free to, I don't want to quote it exactly, but I think his name is Loren Mosher. He was the head of schizophrenic research at the Institute of Mental Health. So he's like the guy. And he concluded that depression is not a real disease because in 100% of cases, there's nothing actually wrong with the brain. He says, I can't detect anything wrong with the brain. All the brain scans they show you in depressed people, you can just take a brain scan of someone having an orgasm. Those are chemicals in the brain. You can see it. That does not mean that the person's got a mental disorder. You can see the depression in their brain because they've accepted they're depressed. The brain didn't change and then make them the depressed. People got the wrong way around. So yeah, of course, everyone feels depressed temporarily. I've been depressed. Bad things happen to everybody.
Yeah, like bad things happen to everyone. Everyone feels sad for like, you know, even like for a long time, like maybe 6 months, a year. But eventually you got to say to yourself like, yo, like this is not actually how I am. I'm tougher than this. Get up, let's do stuff. You know, when you wake up in the morning, guys, I'll give you guys 3 perfect things to do in the morning. Wake up in the morning and like do some exercise, you know what I mean? In first thing, like I try to go to the gym or whatever the case may be, have some coffee, try to get stimulated, and don't think about anything else in the world. And this is hard when you're working a job that you don't like, or let's say something that you don't like, not a purpose that you have, because you're constantly thinking elsewhere. Like when I'm in the gym, guys, all I'm thinking about is YouTube. I'm looking around, I do the set, I rack it, and then I'm like, okay, how many videos do I have to do today? Did I post that program to that person? Do I have, Instagram followers messaging me? Like of hundreds of things. I don't think about anything else except just work constantly. And when your mind starts to kind of come off that sidetrack, that's when you start to experience mental health problems, you know? You got to stay on the straight and narrow, just work, every single day on something that you love, right? But that's hard if you don't have that, you know?
You have a choice of let it consume you.
How did you snap out of your unhappiness, depression?
Well, I snapped out of it because I understand that this is the only choice there is.
Was there a method you did, you know? Like,
I don't think there's a specific method. You just have to be harsh about the realities of the world. Life doesn't give a fuck about you. Everyone who you're crying to your problems about doesn't really care. And you have to get it over with, you know? Like bad things happen to everybody. They're going to happen to everybody. And then we all die. So you have 2 choices. You can let the bad things consume you, or you can wake up one day and think, enough of this.
Yeah, that's the thing, guys. Don't let anything consume you. Don't give the shit power. Like, even if you have these things clinically, right, I would say, try not to let these things consume you, because then it's very hard to say, like, yo, I can't get out of the situation. You want to mentally say to yourself, yo, I've had it with this bullshit. Let's just keep pushing forward, you know?
I'll push forward.
Easier said than done, right?
And the crazy thing is when I say that to people say to me, oh, you're crazy. That is exactly how the entire world functioned until this new think bullshit came along. Until this new age crap came along, no one ever sat down and gave up. You look at World War II, people dying all over the place. Who gave up? Everyone just pushed, keep calm, carry on. There's bombs today, got to go to work. That's because that's how people were raised. But now this new think garbage has come and everyone tells me that I'm wrong. Well, we have a whole, you asking for the medical proof. The medical proof is the entirety of human history, where nobody ever was too depressed to work because they had to fucking eat. And people go on with things. When I was saying...
Well, I mean, just growing up, guys, like, it was shit. Like, I'll talk about this someday in a video where I just didn't have shit. Like, and I don't feel sorry for myself or anything like that. Just a situation of you know what I mean, our economic situation coupled with a few different things. And I never once thought about it. I didn't care, guys. I'm up here working every single day. I don't give a shit, guys. You know, things that happened to you in the past, like being poor or whatever, that doesn't influence what you're going to do in the future. Like, they shouldn't, guys. I mean, that's a weak mentality, in my opinion. So,
saying depression, I'm talking about the 19-year-old in their bedroom with nothing wrong with their life who's saying they're depressed. That's completely different to post-traumatic stress disorder, in my mind. Obviously, bad things can happen to people and they can affect you. Still, I believe you're a master of your own mind, but I think that's a much harder battle depending on what you went through.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit. Like, people go through wars, like killing and some crazy stuff. So there is that, guys, you know, obviously.
But it's really interesting you said that. I watched a TV show about a German girl who survived a plane crash in the 1970s in Peru. The plane blew up in the air or something, it crashed. When she was the only survivor, she woke up, she saw her decapitated mother next to her still strapped in the seat. Everyone's dead. She starts walking through the jungle trying to eat, ends up, because of her wounds, gets infection, ends up sure she's gonna die, passes out in a clearing, gets saved, blah, blah, blah. And they were talking to her what happened once she'd been saved, and she obviously eventually made it back to Germany. Her family originally thought she was dead. She said, well, what happened when you got back? And he said, well, my dad tried to sell a book, but no one bought it. So he told me I had to get a job because we needed work, we needed money.
Straight back to
so
it.
About 2 weeks later, I was working, like doing what? Oh, in a shop. And like, oh, did you go to a psychiatrist? She goes, no, we didn't do that. Like, you know what I mean? So this is one of the most dramatic things you can possibly go through. And she just went to a store, got a job, and got over it. Obviously, she had her own personal battle, but she pushed forward, and now she's doing an interview at age 80 saying, yeah, well, you just have to get on with life. So how and people are going to tell me I'm wrong. I'm like, this is the evidence that it is possible.
I mean, yeah, guys, take that for how you will. Basically, trying to say, like, you know, that it's all mental. You know what I mean? A lot of these things is mental. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Got some motivation out of that. I love you guys all. Leave in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think Tate is crazy? Do you guys agree that it's kind of like more of a action-focused thing to do and, you know, work on that? Or do you guys think he's completely insane? Love you guys all, man, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.